6:04 on the calendar in the matter of Evgene versus Funger. Parties have been sworn in, Judge.
How do you pronounce your last name?
Funger.
Funger.
And Mr. Evgene.
Correct.
How old are you, sir?
50.
Other than this arrest that you had on this charge of domestic violence, have you ever been arrested?
No.
So this arrest for domestic violence was your first arrest?
For domestic violence, yes.
I'm talking about for anything.
For anything. In 2001, wet reckless.
2001 what?
Wet reckless?
What does that mean?
That is a DUI that was reduced to a wet reckless.
So in 2001 you had one arrest for DUI?
Correct.
Other than that?
That's it.
And how long had you and Miss Funger been a couple?
We met in April of '06 at rehab.
Nature of your addiction was alcohol?
Alcohol, correct.
And yours?
It was pills.
Your complaint alleges that you were arrested for domestic violence. The incident occurred because Ms. Funger actually assaulted you while you were driving in the car. It is your claim that ultimately the charges against you were dropped.
Correct.
For lack of evidence. The criminal charges. You allege that Ms. Funger filed for a restraining order. She never showed up. That case was dismissed.
Correct.
Then she filed for another restraining order, and she conned you into not going to court on that one. Told you she was going to drop those charges, so you didn't go to court.
Along with a little loving, yes.
Yeah.
That's correct.
And then she did go to court and did in fact get a protective order.
Correct.
And you want her to compensate you to the tune of $5,000. Ms. Funger says that you did in fact assault her. She's got a counterclaim for her medical bills and punitive damages for the assault. So I want you to tell me exactly your version of the events, Ms. Funger, of what happened on the 9th of January, because you also have a claim for certain property that you claim she took while the 2 days that you were in jail before the charges were dropped, and a dog that you claim she took that belonged to you. Okay. Go.
Okay. On January 9th, we were on... Sorry, I'm nervous. We went to Pollock Casino, and we meet at people. And that night, he decided not to go to the concert. So he pulled me out, and we went to Temecula Valley.
You said you had been to the concert at the casino.
Halfway.
But you went to the concert.
Right, but only halfway.
Okay. And then he wanted to leave. You were driving the car back, and?
Mm-hmm. And he was drunk.
Yes.
And he was on drugs.
And?
And then I was yelling and screaming.
And what about you?
I had 4 drinks.
And what about pills?
Nope.
Just alcohol?
Yeah, correct.
I have proof she had pills that night.
What kind of proof do you have?
A week before that, she got 120 somas by forging my doctor's signature.
But how can you prove that she had pills in her system that night?
Her actions, her behavior, it just goes from what she's...
That's not proof. Go ahead.
When we got to, actually, between Pollock Casino and Temecula Valley, he hit my head against the wall, or against the window. I was unconscious. And then he kept hitting me. He restrained me. And then the next thing I know was the police were there.
Okay. Go ahead.
Back from the concert, she didn't want to go. She wanted to stay. And with this new friend she had met, and party with them, and we were arguing. And then I'm driving, and she attacks me. I have pictures of my face being scratched. And
you wanted to leave the concert early?
I don't think so. No, we left early, but I didn't want to leave early. No.
Do you remember why?
I think it's because the couple that she'd met started making inappropriate remarks towards, like, maybe you guys could sleep in our room tonight and things like that. And I didn't want to stick around.
When had you been drinking that day?
Pretty much from noon until the concert,
And when had the defendant been drinking that day?
Along with me all day long, yeah.
So you were drinking home and you were driving while you were drinking?
No, I wasn't driving while I was
Not while you were drinking, but you had been drinking all day and you got behind the wheel of the car.
That is correct.
So what happened in the car, if you remember?
Oh, I remember. Very nice. She attacked me. I pulled over because it almost
Tell me how
wrecked.
she attacked you.
She came across my face and scratched me. And I.
Well, what were you arguing about that caused that?
Just that she wanted to stay and I didn't. And she was being just the normal self that she always is when she takes her pills. And I didn't want to, have to take care, because she can't walk or talk after a certain amount of them, and I have to take care of her, and I didn't want to do that anymore. So I pull over into a parking lot and try to calm her down. She's running around the parking lot screaming, out of control. I can't calm her down. People call the cops. They come and they arrest me, and then they get.
Do you have a police report?
She did.
I'd like
I
to
never
see the
got
police
one.
report.
I never did get a police report.
I'd like to see the police report, and I would also like to see the pictures.
Here's the proof of the pills, too. She just got 120 more of them 2 weeks ago. That's probably why she can't stand up.
No.
You want pills now, Ms. Funger?
No, I haven't been.
You willing to take a drug test?
I'm willing to.
Hair follicle test?
Sure.
We'll arrange for that.
Mr. Evgene has been taking drugs.
I'm just asking you, are you prepared to take a hair follicle test?
Yes.
Today?
Yes.
And you will either be exonerated or humiliated. Don't waste my time. Don't waste his time. If you've taken any drugs, it's going to show up in your hair follicle. Do you get it?
Yes.
Okay? And you would agree that if you lied to me about using drugs now, so you don't have any pills in your system, that I would have serious reservations about everything else that you told me. Do you understand
Correct.
that?
You can test Mr. Evgene, too.
I'm just asking you.
Okay.
His behavior is not bizarre. Yours is.
I'm very nervous.
That's not nerves. That's more than nerves.
Amen.
Been in the business a long time.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Robert Evgene says his ex-fiancée, Kimberly Fonger, owes for a false arrest and for the return of his property and his dog. Kimberly is countersuing for medical bills from an assault.
Well, so according to the police, you were both drunk as skunks that day. Both of you. According to the police, you both had visible signs of injury. You had a bloody lip, and he had bloody scratches on his face. They decided to arrest him, right?
Correct.
You deserve to be arrested. You were driving drunk. Mm-hmm. You had a fight with her. So your statement that her behavior caused you to be arrested, that's not true. She may have contributed to it, but your own behavior caused you to be arrested.
Her behavior was the one
Your
that...
own behavior caused you to be arrested, sir. If you were not drunk, you wouldn't have been put in that situation.
If she had not called attention to everybody and had the cops call...
You're ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. That's what happens when you drink and drive.
I understand that, but I could have
That's what happens when you drink and drive.
could have sat in my truck all night and no one would know I've been drunk, unless someone called them. And she's the one that had
Or
them
unless you hit somebody who was traveling with their 4 children in a car.
That's another story.
That's another story. I have zero
Tolerance.
sympathy for you.
I understand that.
Zero sympathy for you. I have less sympathy for you. But right now, I'm telling you right now, my inclination is to let you, if you're sober now, terrific, but to let you two drunks who were drunk on January 9th go your own way, and whatever happened to you that day, that's it. He was injured, you were injured, he got to spend some time in jail, had to bail himself out, lost a dog, lost some property, which, by the way, you have his property?
No, it's mine.
What property did she take?
The dog, the TV, the VCR, the bed.
How long had you been living together?
3 years.
I'm not bothering with it. That's your problem.
The dog, though, is like a kid. You can't take a kid from you. It's like taking a kid from you. How do you do
You've
that?
been living together for 3 years, is that right?
I paid for everything. It's my dog.
How long have you had the dog?
2.5 years.
Good. Can I see the medical records, please?
Yes. As well, this is the AKC, and it's
This is
wrong.
the medical records.
Yes.
That's what she has.
Thank
And
you.
Your Honor, I have a tape that says the dog's mine.
I don't care what you have. I just told him he's not getting the dog back. This is not the hospital record, madam. This is not a medical record. This tells you what to do in case you have serious vomiting or worsening or a headache or whatever. I'm not interested in that.
That's from the hospital.
Well, it's not enough for me. Could you pass this back to her, please? He had a swollen lip, he had a scratched face. Sounds to me as if you two people who were intoxicated in a car got exactly what you both deserved. Goodbye.
Please excuse me, step out.
It was just waiting to happen. It was one of those relationships that, you meet in rehab, and they tell you not to date, and they're right. You don't do it.
Don't meet a man.
जज जॉर्डन एक मशहूर अमेरिकन टीवी शख्सियत और साबिक जज हैं जिसका असल नाम जज जॉर्डन है। वो अपने अदालती शो जज की वजह से पूरी दुनिया में मशहूर हुई, जो 1996 से 2021 तक चला। वो शो में छोटे छोटे मुकदमा सुनती थी और अपने सख्त, वाज़िया और मज़ेदार अंदाज में फैसला देती थी। जज जूडी ने न्यूयॉर्क में फैमिली कोर्ट की जज के तौर पर काम किया और इसका टीवी शो उस अंदाज दिखाया। वो अपनी तेज़ ज़बान, मुफ्ती सवालात और फौरी फैसलों की वजह से पहचानी जाती थी। इसका शो हकीकी मुकदमात पर मुबनी होता, जहां दोनों फ़र्क इनके सामने अपना कैशबैक करते और इनका फैसला में होता। इसकी शख्सियत मजबूत, खुद एतमाद और बेबाक, जो इन्हें नाज़रीन में मकबूलियत बनाती। जज जूडी को दुनिया भर में लाखों लोग देखते और इन्हें टीवी की तारीख की सबसे तरीन कामयाब समझा जाता। उन्होंने अपने कैरियर में कई अवार्ड भी हासिल किए। मुख्तसर, जज जूडी इंसाफ के सख्त असूलों, तंज और मिजाज के अमीर से लोगों के तालीम में दोनों फरोख्त कर यार। और मुझे समझ भी नहीं आ रहा था ये होया भी उल्टा पड़ा। एक और फिल्म कर लें इसको।